नमः सर्वेभ्यः। अद्य कृदन्तवर्गे चतुर्थः पाठः। एप्रिल् मासस्य 8 दिनाङ्कः। अद्य वयम् अनियर् इति प्रत्ययस्य परिचयं प्राप्नुमः। तस्य रूपाणि कथं भवन्ति इत्यपि पश्यामः। आदौ मङ्गलम्। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। गुरुरेव गतिर्गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोर्मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो। अग्रे गमनात् पूर्वम् अधीतस्य किञ्चित् पुनरावर्तनं कुर्मः। कृदन्ताः इति अयं वर्गः। धातुः प्रकृतिः। धातोः यदा कृत् इति प्रत्ययस्य योजनं क्रियते तदा कृदन्तः इति शब्दः सिद्ध्यति. So dhatu is a root, verb root. So there are a fixed list of around 2000 verbs given as the dhatu patha. Other dhatus can also be created. So to these dhatus, when we add suffixes called as krit, we get shabdas called as kridantas. Krit ityukte kim? Krit iti eka samnya. तत्र प्रायः 40-100 प्रत्ययाः भिन्नेषु अर्थेषु विहिताः सन्ति. So krit is a name given to a set of around 140 suffixes given by Panini in the Ashtadhyayi. These pratyayas are given in different meanings, that is, they convey different senses when added to the dhatus. कृदन्तः प्रातिपदिकं भवति. सर्वेपि कृदन्ताः प्रातिपदिकम्. So प्रातिपदिकम् is the noun stem. The stem of a noun form is called pratipadika. All kridantas are pratipadikas. कृदन्तानां स्वातन्त्र्येण उपयोगः न शक्यते. कृदन्तेभ्यः सुप् प्रत्ययान् योजयित्वा सुबन्तरूपेण प्रयोगं कुर्मः. So you cannot use kridantas independently. We always add supratyayas to it and you get subantas or namapadas. So kridantas are used in the form of subantas. Okay. Iti kridantanam vishaye सामान्याः अंशाः अस्माभिः अवगताः. ततः ल्युट् इति प्रथमः कृत् प्रत्ययः अस्माभिः दृष्टः. गमनं, पठनं, जननं, मरणं, करणं, तरणम् इत्यादिषु शब्देषु श्रूयमाणः प्रत्ययः ल्युट् इति उच्यते. यत्र यत्र अयं प्रत्ययः भवति तत्र पदस्य अन्ते अनम् अथवा अणम् इति श्रूयते. अयं भावार्थकः प्रत्ययः, अर्थात् क्रियां बोधयति. It represents the action of a dhatu. यत्र रेफः शकारः अथवा ऋकारः अस्ति धातौ तत्र णत्वस्य सम्भवः, अर्थात् ल्युट् प्रत्यये अन इति नकारः अस्ति. तस्य नकारस्य कदाचित् णकारः सम्भवति. सो कुत्र भवति? यत्र रेफः शकारः अथवा ऋकारः अस्ति तत्र सम्भवः. So there is the possibility of natva if there is a repha, shakara or rakara in the dhatu. So the possibility is only when these three letters are present, but whenever these three are there, it does not mean that there is na. So yadi ete varnaha nakarat purvam vidyante. So if these three are directly before the nakara, not considering the swaras, or when they are separated by kavarga, pavarga, ha, ya, va, these letters. So when repha and nakara is separated by any of these consonants, so which is kavarga, pavarga or ha, ya, va, then we have natva. So if there is any other intervening consonant, tada natvam na bhavati iti. Kutra natvam bhavati, kutra na bhavati iti bahuni udaharanani दृष्टवन्तः. ततः ल्युट् प्रत्ययस्य रूपाणि कथं भवन्ति, धातुभ्यः ल्युट् प्रत्ययस्य योजनेन कथं रूपाणि सिद्ध्यन्ति इत्यपि दृष्टवन्तः. सामान्यतः किं क्रियते, धातोः अन इति योजनेन कृदन्तं सिद्ध्यति. यथा गम् अन गमन, पठ अन पठन, पूज अन पूजन इत्यादि. यदि धातोः अन्ते इकारः अथवा ईकारः अस्ति तर्हि अयन इति श्रूयते. यथा चि चयन, नी नयन इत्यादि. यदि धातोः अन्ते उकारः अथवा ऊकारः अस्ति तर्हि अवन इति श्रूयते. हु हवन, भू भवन, श्रु श्रवण इत्यादि. यदि धातोः उपान्त्यः वर्णः इकारः, so there is some letter x at the end of the dhatu, before it we have e, tada ikarasya sthane ekarah bhavati. Yatha likh, l I kh, we get l e kh ana, lekhana, bhid bhedana, क्षिप क्षेपण इत्यादि. एवमेव यत्र उकारः उपान्तिमः वर्णः तत्र उकारस्य ओकारः भवति. रुद् रोदन, भुज भोजन इत्यादि. यत्र ऋकारः अन्ते अस्ति अथवा उपान्तिमः वर्णः तदा ऋकारस्य अर् इति भवति. यथा अरण, ऋकारः अन्ते अस्ति चेत् अरण इति श्रूयते. कृ करण, मृ मरण, वृ वरण इत्यादि. उपान्तिमः ऋकारश्चेत् अर् मध्ये व्यञ्जनम् अन. यथा वृद्ध वर्धन, वृत् वर्तन, वृज वर्जन इत्यादि भवति. एकारः अथवा ऐकारः अस्ति चेत् धातोः अन्ते तस्य स्थाने आकारः भवति. आन इति श्रूयते. गै गान, ध्यै ध्यान इत्यादि. इत्येवं भिन्नेभ्यः धातुभ्यः ल्युट् प्रत्ययस्य योजनं कथं करणीयं, कथं तानि रूपाणि सिद्ध्यन्ति इति ज्ञातवन्तः. ल्युट् प्रत्ययान्तः शब्दः अकारान्तं नपुंसकलिङ्गं प्रातिपदिकं भवति. अत्र पूर्वत्र दृष्टम्. एते सर्वे शब्दाः गमन, पठन, पूजन इत्यादि ह्रस्व अकारान्ताः नपुंसकलिङ्गाः. ल्युडन्तशब्दः भावार्थे ल्युडन्तशब्दः. यत्र ल्युडन्तः क्रियां बोधयति तत्र नपुंसकलिङ्गे एव भवति. अतः अकारान्तं नपुंसकलिङ्गं प्रातिपदिकं भवति. तस्य प्रातिपदिकस्य फलशब्दवद् रूपाणि भवन्ति. गमनं गमने गमनानि, गमनं गमने गमनानि, गमनेन गमनाभ्यां गमनैः, गमनाय गमनाभ्यां गमनेभ्यः, गमनात् गमनाभ्यां गमनेभ्यः, गमनस्य गमनयोः गमनानां, गमने गमनयोः गमनेषु इत्येवं फलशब्दवत् रूपाणि भवन्ति ल्युट् प्रत्ययान्तानां. सर्वासु विभक्तिषु वचनेषु च प्रयोगः शक्यते. एवं यानि रूपाणि सिद्ध्यन्ति तानि सर्वाणि प्रयोक्तुं शक्यन्ते इत्यपि भिन्नासु विभक्तिषु कथं प्रयोगः करणीयः इति वयं ज्ञातवन्तः. So this is all. अन्ते केचन विशेषांशाः अपि दृष्टाः. यथा अन्येषु अर्थेषु ल्युट् प्रत्ययः सामान्यतः क्रियार्थे ल्युट् भवति क्रियां बोधयति किन्तु अन्येषु अपि अर्थेषु भवति यथा लोचनं लोचनं नाम नेत्रं लोक्यते अनेन so that through which we see is called lochana where the ana that is the lut pratyaya represents karana the sense of an instrument asanam so asyate asmin so that in which we sit okay so in that sense the chair asanam is adhikarane lut so lut can also indicate other senses other than this so tat drashtam sadrishaah lut pratyaya sadrishaah anye pratyayah santi so there are other pratyayas which resemble lut as in yuch okay so there also you hear the ana but it will be in strilinga prarthana ganana kalana ityevam निजन्तेभ्यः धातुभ्यः युच् इति प्रत्ययः भवति तत्र रूपाणि अन इति भवन्ति किन्तु स्त्रीलिङ्गे भवन्ति एवं ल्यु इति प्रत्ययः केभ्यश्चित् धातुभ्यः भवति so ल्यु is added only to a few dhatus where it is in pullinga it is in karta that is the person who does it so nandayati iti nandanaha he who delights is called nandana madhusudanaha madhum sudayati he who kills madhu is called madhusudana and so on so those forms sound similar to lut but they are of different pratyayas ल्युट् प्रत्यय सम्बद्धानि कानिचन सूत्राणि अपि अस्माभिः सूत्राणाम् उल्लेखमात्रं दृष्टम् इत्येवं ल्युट् प्रत्ययस्य अध्ययनं कृतं तत्र अभ्यासः अपि आसीत् so we had also an exercise which was posted in the website I hope all of you went through the exercise so there was converting the tinganta to lyudanta where there is karma pada the karma pada should be in shashti vibhakti when it is converted to lut okay so we also had the fill in the blanks with lyudantas the correct vibhakti of lyudanta to be used according to the context and then identifying the lyudantas in a few shlokas so the answers were also given so if you have questions now directly related to lut or the exercise or the thing we are doing it okay so okay there is one question here I'll answer this first so there is a in exercise 2 section 2 question 11 putrim lalayati should we form the lut using the causative stem or the root see the question is the lalayati is a nijanta so should we use which dhatu the original dhatu is lala dhatu but it is a dhatu belonging to the 10th gana okay so those are compulsorily having nich so the form will be lalanam okay so the lut will be added only after adding the nich because they always get nich without any other without requiring any other nimitta in swartha to represent their own meaning they always get nich so we do use the nijanta that is the causative root and the form will be lalanam okay. So what is the root for I don't know if it is bhashanam or bhashanam both forms are there so bhashanam is bhash dhatu meaning to speak bhashanam is bhash dhatu meaning to bark okay so both words are there so bhash and bhash so that is why we need to be careful regarding the hrasva and dirgha otherwise our bhashanam could be bhashanam which is a totally different meaning okay so So there is one more question which we had discussed earlier. So Ramena you get nakara, but in Raman we don't get nakara. Natvam na bhavati kimartham iti. Yatra nakaraha padasya ante vidyate tatra natvam na bhavati. So anywhere if nakara is the last letter of a word, there will be no natva. Irrespective of what comes before or after, there is no natva. Okay. So there are a few other questions. Murali Prasad, you have to unmute yourself if you have a question. You have to click on the microphone to unmute yourself. No. Okay. Pudur Ramaswamy Mahodaya.
Namaste.
Ah.
So this is my first class. Where can I find the recordings of the previous classes?
So all this is found in our website. So the I'll just show you because a few people, no, no. Many people keep writing to me. I'll just 1 second, please. Okay. So I'm just giving this as a general direction because I keep getting queries. So this is our website www.sanskritfromhome.in. So you have to go there, you have to register if you have not registered, and if you have registered you can sign in. So after that, so the Kridanta course is available right at the home page. You have under the new courses, or it will also be available under the various categories. So you have to go to the course and click on take this course for the first time only. So once you sign in and take this course, so once you do that, you will get this course in your profile. So after that, in any of the lessons, you can click on the lesson. So if you have not signed in, you'll get this message. But once you sign in, you will be able to download all the materials. So there is the notes and the audio, the video link, and also the exercises. So everything will be available on our website. So the website is updated after each class by 2 or 3 days. So usually by Tuesday, the class will be updated. You might not get notification for every update. So unless it is, you can just check it on after Tuesday or Wednesday to find the materials of the previous class. Okay.
Dhanyavadaga.
Okay, so coming back. Vijay Raghavan Mahodaya, Prashna अस्ति वा? So you have to unmute yourself. You have muted.
Namaste. Prashnam nasti.
Okay. Venkateshwaran Mahodaya, you have to unmute yourself.
Suprabhatam. Madam, this in the kridanta talk about dhatu, vikaranam pratyaya, and adhyanam pratyaya. You describe little what is it vikaranam pratyaya?
So we don't have the vikarana pratyaya in kridantas. So it happens only in tingantas. So in tingantas, between the dhatu and the ting pratyaya, there is a pratyaya which is called as vikarana pratyaya. So which is not, I mean, we will see that when we come to the say specific, there are only a very few krit pratyayas which require the vikarana, like Kshatriya and Shanach. So we will see about it when we come to those pratyayas. So generally Vikarana Pratyaya is just a Pratyaya which is added in between the Dhatu and the Ting Pratyaya. Okay. So there are a few other questions. Melanasya anantaram ityapi sadhu prayogaha va? Yes, both Panchami and Shashti is okay with anantaram. You can have Melanat and Melanasya. Okay. Excuse me for just one moment. I'll be back. Okay. So one more question. The Lyudanta form for Mushnati and Prishtam. So Mushnati is Moshanam, which is stealing or robbing. Prachya dhatuhu. So I will have it as Prachanam, which is questioning. Other words are more popular, of course. Okay. So the okay, there is one more. Okay, I'm taking only 2 questions now, so we will see the other questions later. So one is, can I explain the Anyeshu Artheshu Lyut? So we did it quite in detail in the last class. So if you look at the last portion of the recording of last class, you should be able to get a clearer understanding if you missed it. So if you have any questions after that, I'll be glad to take it. So next, the last question for now, how about Ramayana? That is again the question with Natva keeps appearing. The last letter is Na. In Ramayana, the last letter is not Na. Okay, so we should always be aware of the division of swaras and vyanjanas. So R, A, M, A, N, A. So there is an akara at the end, not nakara. Whereas in Raman, N is the last letter. In Ramayana, A is the last letter and N is not the last letter. So if it is the last letter, then there is no Natva. If it is not the last letter, even an akara or any letter after nakara will allow Natvam. So if nakara is the last letter, there is no Natvam. So it's a common thing that a Na is not one letter. Na is N and A. Okay, very important in Samskrita for all processes, whether you are trying with sandhis or anything. We need to be very clear about this thing, because you don't see visually the akara, but it is there. Okay, so okay, so now let's move ahead with today's class. So if there are any other questions, we will take them after the class. Okay, at the end of the class. So इदानीं द्वितीयं प्रत्ययम् अद्य पश्यामः. द्वितीयः प्रत्ययः अस्ति अनीयर् अथवा अनीय. Okay. One note here before we move ahead: the order of pratyayas. So it is not in any particular order. So I started with what was probably the easiest of the pratyaya in with respect to the meaning and also the forms, and of course very popular in usage. So the next pratyayas, the order will be decided based on factors. Say we will go from the known to the unknown. So we already know Lyut. So Aniyar is very similar to Lyut in some aspects. So that is why we are doing Aniyar now. So they are not in any particular order of meaning or form or anything. We will bring them to order later. I mean, there are a few divisions which are possible, divisions based on the meaning. So we will come to that at the end and see which categories these different pratyayas fit into. But while we are learning, the order will be mainly based on the ease of learning, or the transition from one pratyaya to other rather than any particular grouping or categorization. So अस्माभिः इदानीं द्वितीयः प्रत्ययः अधीयते अनीयर् इति. आदौ एकं द्वित्रान् प्रयोगान् पश्यामः. प्रसिद्धम् एकं गीतं विद्यते. ये संस्कृतभारत्याः शिबिराणि गतवन्तः स्युः प्रायः तैः सर्वैः श्रुतमेव स्यात्. मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं लोकहितं मम करणीयम् इति एकं गीतमस्ति. अत्र पश्यन्तु, स्मरणीयं वदनीयं करणीयम् इति त्रीणि पदानि सन्ति. एतेषु पदेषु अनीयर् इति प्रत्ययः अस्ति. कः अर्थः? मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं. So smaranam is remembering. So one should always remember with the mind. Vachasa satatam vadaniyam. And one should also constantly, satatam means always or constantly, tell it in words, vachasa, what? Lokahitam mama karaniyam. So I should do, or that must be done by me. What? Lokahitam, that which is good for the world, for others. That is, I should always do something which is useful or helpful to others. So that should be constantly remembered and should be constantly told. Manasa satatam smaraniyam, vachasa satatam vadaniyam, lokahitam mama karaniyam. Atra smaraniyam वदनीयं करणीयम् इति अनीयर् प्रत्ययान्ताः शब्दाः. अन्यदेकम् उदाहरणं पश्यामः. एतदपि गीतमेव. सर्वं ब्रह्ममयम् इति कर्णाटकसङ्गीते प्रसिद्धं. सदाशिवब्रह्मेन्द्र यतिवर्याः तेषाम् इदं गीतं. किं वचनीयं, किम् अवचनीयं, किं रचनीयं, किम arachaniyam, sarvam brahmamayam. So sarvam, everything is filled with Brahma. So when this is the case, kim vachaniyam, what should be told? Kim avachaniyam, what should not be told? Kim rachaniyam, what is to be created? Kim arachaniyam, what is to not be created? Everything is Brahma. So how do we make the distinction? I think so. Let's not go too much into the philosophical this one. So asmakam tatparyam tu shabdasya avagamanam. So vachaniyam, avachaniyam, rachaniyam, arachaniyam agrepi asti. Kim pathaniyam, kima pathaniyam, kim bhajaniyam, kim abhajaniyam, sarvam brahmamayam. So what is to be studied, what is to not be studied, what is to be served and what is not to be served, everything is Brahma. Okay, everything is filled with Brahma. That is the song. So atra ete sarve shabdaah api aniyar pratyayantaah. Okay. So etani rupani pathamah. Gamaniyam, pathaniyam, lekhaniyam, भोजनीयं, क्रीडनीयं, दर्शनीयम्. एवं करणीयं, क्रयणीयं, हरणीयं, तरणीयं, भ्रमणीयं, ग्रहणीयम्. So एते सर्वेपि शब्दाः अनीयर् प्रत्ययान्ताः. अर्थस्तु प्रायेण ज्ञायते. गमनीयं, so should be gone. पठनीयं, should be read or studied. Lekhaniyam, should be written. Bhojaniyam, should be eaten. Kridaniyam, should be played. Darshaniyam, should be seen. Karaniyam, should be done. Krayaniyam, should be bought. Krayanam is buying. Haraniyam, should be taken. Taraniyam, should be crossed. Brahmaniyam, should be wandered around. Grahaniyam, should be taken hold of. So ete sarvepi shabdaah aniyar pratyayantaah. So yatra aniyam athava aniyam iti shabdasya ante shruyate saha vidyarthakah athava preranarthakah pratyayah. So the sense here is all what we call the vidhi, that is should be read or should be done, that which should be crossed. Saha vidhihi athava prerana. So you are trying to make somebody else do something. Ataha vidyarthakah ayam pratyayah. So dvitiyah pratyayah aniyar iti. अनीयर् इति प्रत्ययस्य पूर्णं रूपं प्रयोगेषु तु रेफः न श्रूयते अनीय इत्येव श्रूयते सर्वेभ्यः धातुभ्यः अयं प्रत्ययः भवति. So this is also a general कृत् प्रत्यय. यथा मया उक्तं कृत् प्रत्ययाः द्विविधाः. केचन प्रत्ययाः सर्वेभ्यः धातुभ्यः भवन्ति, केचन तु विशिष्य केभ्यश्चित् धातुभ्यः एव भवन्ति. So there are general कृत् pratyayas which can be added to all dhatus. There are also specific pratyayas which can be added only to particular dhatus. Okay? So this is a general pratyaya. You can add it to all dhatus to convey that sense. So vidyarthakah, I said, it conveys a sense of something that must be done, should be done, deserves to be done, and so on. Okay. So atra prathamah abhyasah संयोजयत. अत्र पञ्चपदानि सन्ति. एतान् अनीयर् प्रत्ययान्तैः शब्दैः एते शब्दाः योजनीयाः. So they must be matched. These words should be matched with these. So एते शब्दाः एतैः शब्दैः योजनीयाः. Before that, there is just one question which I want to answer. So there were 2 or 3 people who asked about the lokahitam mama karaniyam, the usage of mama in mama karaniyam. So we will see that. So in the next class, not today, but in the next class we will see about it. Okay. So don't worry about that now. It is correct. So lokahitam mama karaniyam is correct. So katham iti pashyamah. Agrima varge pashyamah. Okay. Nanim abhyasah. So those who are attending for the first time, if you want to answer any of the questions, just raise your hand. There is a symbol to raise the hand. So I will unmute as many as possible at this one, and you will get chances. Okay. Okay. Lakshmi Muralidharan.
Good morning.
Satyam
Vadaniyam.
Satyam
Punyam
Vadaniyam.
Punyam Punyam Sampadaniyam. Tirthakshetram Darshaniyam. Papam Nivaraniyam. Guruvachanam Palaniyam.
Samyak. So Satyam Vadaniyam. So truth must be told. Punyam Sampadaniyam. Punya should be earned. Sampadanam is to earn. Tirthakshetram Darshaniyam. So places of pilgrimage must be seen. Papam Nivaraniyam. So sinful acts must be avoided. Nivaraniyam. Guruvachanam Palaniyam. So the words or the order of elders should be followed. Okay. Guruvachanam Palaniyam. Satyam Vadaniyam. Punyam Sampadaniyam. Tirthakshetram Darshaniyam. Papam Nivaraniyam. Guruvachanam Palaniyam. द्वितीयः अभ्यासः छात्रैः किं किं करणीयं चित्रं दृष्ट्वा पदं वक्तव्यम्. हरमंदर सिंह. Pathaniyam. So they must study.
Lekhaniyam.
Lekhaniyam. So they must write. Thank you. Kranti Kiran.
Kridaniyam.
Kridaniyam. So they must play.
Khadaniyam.
Khadaniyam. So they must eat. Samyak. So kim kim karaniyam, pathaniyam, lekhaniyam, kridaniyam, khadaniyam. तृतीयः अभ्यासः रिक्तं स्थानं पूरयत. रिक्तं स्थानं पूरणीयम्. So the blanks must be filled. अनीयर् प्रत्ययान्तैः शब्दैः. अत्र धातुः दीयते. So भोजनात् पूर्वं स्ना इति धातुः अस्ति. So तस्य रूपं वक्तव्यम्. सुन्दररामन् महोदय. You have muted yourself. I think you should click on the microphone to unmute. Yeah. न श्रूयते. I cannot hear you. Maybe you should check your microphone because I cannot hear you. Srinivas Mahoday. Na shruyate. So please check if your microphones are working. So the webinar has an option to check the audio at the beginning. So maybe you can check it if it is working there. Ramesh Vijayaraghavan Mahodaya.
Bhojanat purvam snanam karaniyam.
Can you make it a single word with sna?
Snaniyam.
Snaniyam. Samyak. So bhojanat purvam snaniyam. So bath should be taken. Atyarthaha. So bhojanat purvam snaniyam.
Karanat purvam chintaniyam.
Karanat purvam chintaniyam. So think before you act. So karanat purvam chintaniyam. Raj.
Namaste. Vastradharanat purvam kshalaniyam.
Kshalaniyam. So before wearing clothes, they must be washed. Vastradharanat purvam kshalaniyam.
Vapanat purvam krushaniyam.
Karshaniyam.
Karshaniyam.
So before sowing seeds, the field must be plowed. So plowing must be done before seeding. Vapanat purvam karshaniyam. So the last one, anybody? So Rao Mahoday.
Yeah, I'll answer this before that. Now, when you get a chance, I want a question to be answered. Vidyardhishu, Prardhaneshu, Praraneshu, Madhye, Kinchit Bhedamasti va?
Na avagatam. Kaha prashnaha?
Vidyardhishu, Praraneshu, Madhye, Bhedamasti va?
Preraneshu. Preranam na avagatam. Prashnasya ashayah na avagataha.
Is there a difference between the vidhi and prarana?
Oh, vidhi. Okay, okay. Vidyarthe prerana. We will come to that later. Yeah.
Okay, all right. For this, prasthanat purvam prarthaniyam.
Prarthaniyam. Prasthanat purvam prarthaniyam. So one must pray before leaving. Okay. So bhojanat purvam snaniyam. Karanat purvam chintaniyam. Vastradharanat purvam kshalaniyam. Vapanat purvam karshaniyam. Prasthanat purvam prarthaniyam. Okay. So as you can notice, all the first words are Kridantas. So let's remember Kridantas as we move on. because I mean, apart from remembering it, Lyudanta is very useful for an year, as we will see. So अत्र कश्चन प्रश्नः पूर्वत्र क्रीडनीयम् इत्यर्थे खेलनीयम् इत्यपि वक्तुं शक्यते वा इति शक्यते खेल इति धातुः अपि अस्ति हिंदी भाषायाम् अधिकतया प्रसिद्धः किन्तु अस्ति संस्कृते अपि अतः खेलनीयम् इत्यपि वक्तुं शक्यते स्नानीय is snaniya. Okay. So sna we just add aniya, so like we get snana we get snaniya. Okay. So atra punah aniyar pratyaye api ayam prashnah kutra aniya kutra aniya. So the answer is very similar to what we saw in lyut. It is the same logic. Yatra nakarat purvam repah rikarah shakaro va asti tatra natvam bhavati. Okay. Karaniyam bhashaniyam. So atra repah atra shakarah atah natvam bhavati. Madhye अर्थात रेफणकारयोः अथवा शकारणकारयोः अथवा ऋकारणकारयोः मध्ये कवर्गः कवर्गस्य व्यञ्जनानि पवर्गस्य व्यञ्जनानि हकार यकार वकार वा सन्ति चेत् णत्वं भवति चर्वणीयम् चर्वणं नाम चूयिङ्ग् सो अत्र रेफस्य नकारस्य मध्ये वकारः अस्ति बृंहणीयम् सो तत्र ऋकारस्य नकारस्य मध्ये हकारः अस्ति अतः णत्वं भवति Brahmana is the trumpeting of an elephant. The sound of an elephant is called Brahmana. It is also there in the meaning of to spread. Okay, Vistaraha ityarthe api asti. Brihi vruddhau ityapi asti. Kshepaniyam. So kshe, the sh is here in ksha. Nakaraha madhye pavargasya vyanjanam asti. Ataha natvam bhavati. Ringaniyam gatau. So ringana is to go. Tatra repasya nakarasya madhye ngakara gakarau dvau api kavargasya varnau ataha natvam bhavati. So if the intervening vyanjana in between the repha shakara or rakara, okay, that should always be remembered. So tadasti chet natvam bhavati. Madhye anyani vyanjanani santi chet natvam na bhavati. Even a single intervening vyanjana which does not belong to this set of kavarga, pavarga, ha, yava will prevent natva. So archaniyam. So madhye chakarah asti atah natvam na bhavati. Kshalaniyam. Madhye lakarah asti. Bhartsaniyam. Madhye takarah sakarah asti atah eteshu natvam na bhavati. Ityarthah. So it is the same thing. Where do you have ana and ana in lyut? It is the same thing for aniya and aniya of aniyar. Okay. Taha idanim atra madhye gama madhye ni iti bhavati va ni iti bhavati va iti vaktavyam. Abhyasaha natvam bhavati va na va iti. Geeta Ramachandran.
Gamaniyam.
Gamaniyam prathamam. णत्वं न भवति.
Kramaniyam.
Ni अथवा णी.
Kramaniyam.
Ni द्वितीय.
Yeah.
So because there is the ra, repah asti madhye makarah pavargasya varnah atah णत्वं भवति kramaniyam iti रूपम. गंतव्यम इत्येव अर्थः. क्रमु पादविक्षेपे. To move the feet is called kramana, so it means to go again. Okay. Lalita Singh.
Archaniyam.
Archaniyam. So atra णत्वं न भवति because of the chakara.
Grahaniyam.
Garhaniyam. So repah
Garhani.
yeah natvam
Garhani.
yes
Yes.
natvam bhavati because there is hakara in between. So repa nakara the hakara so garhaniyam iti bhavati. Malakondaya
हरि ओम् हर्षणेयं नत्वं भवति
bhavati irshyaniyam
ईर्षणेयं नत्वं भवति
so shakara so you have the yakara in between so there is natva.
कुर्दनेयं नत्वं न भवति
Na bhavati because of the dakara kurdaniyam. So garhaniyam is nindaniyam so that which must be condemned ityartha. Irshyaniyam so jealousy irshya is jealousy that which is worth being jealous of. Say they have this Onida TV neighbors envy so that which should be envied is irshyaniyam. So kurdaniyam so to be jumped or played. So Shobha Malik.
Marganiyam.
Marganiyam because gakara is in the kavarga. So marganiyam to be searched for. Okay, margayati is to search for.
Graniyam.
Natvam bhavati because refa is before it. Graniyam to be smelled. Grana is nose, smelling, the instrument of smelling. Okay. Padmanabhan Iyer.
Varjaniyam.
Varjaniyam. So jakara hasti atah natvam na bhavati. So varjaniyam is to leave or to give up. That must be given up.
Takshaniyam, natvam.
Takshaniyam natvam bhavati because of the shakara. So takshati is to peel or to scrape or to slice. So cutting. So that is takshana. Okay. Venkateshwaran.
Darshaniyam.
Natvam na bhavati because of the shakara. Darshaniyam.
Yeshaniyam. Na bhavati.
Natvam bhavati. Eshaniyam. Natvam bhavati because of the shakara. Ishu ichhayam. So that which must be desired. Okay. So tatra eshaniyam natvam bhavati. So varjaniyam madhye jakara asti. So it is not kavarga, pavarga or hayavara. Ataha natvam na bhavati. Okay. So clear about natva and natva. So this is just to repeat, the concept is the same. Okay. So what we did with lut is the same. Okay. So agre ekam subhashitam pathamaha. Kasyachit kimapi no haraniyam marmavakyamapi nocharaniyam Shripatehe padayugam smaraniyam leelaya bhavajalam taraniyam. Iti ekam subhashitam. Arthaha kasyachit kimapi na haraniyam. Na ityarthe no iti avyayam upayuktam asti. Na haraniyam. So you should not take away or steal anything belonging to anybody. Okay. Kasyachit kimapi na haraniyam. Marma vakyam api na ucharaniyam. So marma vakyam, that which hurts the heart. So marma is the heart or the that which directly pricks the soul. So such words, harsh words, should not be uttered. Marma vakyam api na ucharaniyam. Shripatehe padayugam smaraniyam. So the feet of Shripati, Lord Vishnu, must be remembered. Pada yugam. Yugam is the couple. So 2 feet. So together the feet of Hari must be remembered. Leelaya bhavajalam taraniyam. So by all these, Leelaya, very easily, bhavajalam, the water of the samsara, taraniyam, should be crossed. So haraniyam, uchcharaniyam, smaraniyam, taraniyam iti aniyar pratyayantah. Sarvatra repha asti ityatah natvam bhavati. So agre pashyamah. Just one moment. So aniyar pratyayantasya rupani. So how do we have the forms of aniyar? Bhinnyanam dhatunam aniyar pratyayantani rupani katham bhavanti iti pashyamah. So the single rule to be remembered is lyut pratyayantena tulyani, very similar to the lyudanta forms. So wherever you have ana in lyut, replace it with aniya. If you have ana, replace it with aniya. You are ready with the forms of aniyar. Okay, so all rules are the same. Lyut pratyayasya rupanam vishaye yadyad adhitam tat sarvam api samanam bhavati aniyar pratyayasya api. Yatha samanyatah kim kriyate gam. Gamanam iti lyudantam, gamaniyam iti aniyar pratyayantam. So instead of ana, we have aniya. So that is all. So pathu, pathanam, pathaniyam. We add aniya to the dhatu. Puj, pujanam, pujaniyam. Ityevam. Yadi dhatuhu chint, chintanam, chintaniyam. So एवं धातोः अन इति योजनेन ल्युडन्तं भवति, अनीय इति योजनेन अनीयर् प्रत्ययान्तं भवति. यदि धातुः इकारान्तः तर्हि अयनम् अयनीयम्. सो ची चयनं चयनीयम्, नी नयनं नयनीयम्. So to be taken or to be collected. Chayaniyam, to be collected. Nayaniyam, to be taken or carried. Evam ukarantaha athava ukarantaha dhatushchet avanam iti lyuti, avaniyam iti aniyari bhavati. So shru, shravanam, shravaniyam must be heard. Pu, pavanam, pavaniyam. So must be cleaned. Pung pavane ityarthaha. So ukarantanam dhatunam avana avaniya iti shruyate. Rikarantanam arana. So kr karanam karaniyam. So tr taranam taraniyam bhavati. Yatra ikarah upadhayam अर्थात उपान्तिमः वर्णः तत्र एकारः भवति. So लिख लेखनं लेखनीयम्, खिद खेदनं खेदनीयम्. So khid is to be sorrowful about. So खेदनं खेदनीयम्. Similarly ukarasya sthane okarah bhavati. Nud nodanam nodaniyam. So tul tolanam tolaniyam. So nud is to push, tul is to weigh or to balance. Okay. So tolayati is to weigh two things or to think about two different things. Drish rikarah asti chet ar iti bhavati. So darshanam darshaniyam. Bhrij Bharjanam, bharjaniyam, to fry. Similarly, ekarantanam, aikarantanam cha akaraha bhavati. So, dhyai, dhyanam, dhyaniyam. Da. So, swayam akaraha asti chedapi tathaiva. Danam, daniyam. So, hve, hvanam, hvaniyam. Ityevam bhavati. So, you can see everywhere it is the same. Lyudantasya yadrupam tatraiva न इत्यस्य स्थाने नीय इति योज्यते चेत् अनीयर् प्रत्ययान्तं रूपं सिद्ध्यति. So यत्र णत्वं भवति तत्र अनीयर् प्रत्ययस्यापि णत्वं भवति. So in all aspects the forms of aniyar are similar to the forms of lyut. There is no difference in deriving the forms. Okay. So that is why we took aniyar immediately after lyut. So idanim kaschid abhyasaha. Just one moment. Any questions? If you have, you can ask regarding what we have done. So nodanam, nodanam is pushing. Nuda prerane. So push somebody to do it. So uchcharaniyam ityapi asti va asti. Uchcharati iti prayogaha, uchcharayati ityapi prayogaha. So uchcharati ityasya uchcharaniyam, uchcharayati ityasya uchcharaniyam. So the dhatu, many dhatus which are in other ganas are also present in the 10th gana. So you will also have the nijanta forms, even though it's not causative. Both of them means to utter. Uta ityasya va ityarthaha. Yes. So we saw somewhere. Ni uta ni. So uta is another avyaya which just means or. So there is one more question. Aniyar also indicates bhavishyat kala. Aniyar does not indicate any kala at all. Okay. So there is no sense of any tense. It is just something which needs to be done at all times. So there is no specific tense. It should be done today, tomorrow, later. So something that should be done. That's all. So it does not carry any indication of time or tense. Any other questions with what we did so far? Sorry, if you have a question, please raise your hands. Yes, Venkateshan Mohoday. Prashna अस्ति वा? I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you well. Kim uchyate iti na avagamyate.
Madam, in Sanskrit, one word has a different meaning. For example, varjanam, nourishing or frying.
Sorry, I'm unable to get you at all. I mean, I can hear you, but I cannot make out what you're saying. Maybe you can type in your question. The voice is not clear.
In Sanskrita, one word has different meanings. For example, varjanam. Nourishing, what it is.
Again, lost it. Maybe you should come closer to the microphone. I could hear you well in between, but now I cannot hear you.
Madam, this in Sanskrita, one word has many meanings. Varjanam, nourishing or frying.
Sorry, no, you should, I think, type in your this one. I can understand that you're asking about the difference of some word, but I can't make out which word it is. So, bharjanam. So if you're talking about bharjanam, bharjanam means to fry. There is no other meaning. Varjanam is to give up. Bharjanam is to fry. So I don't think bharjanam is many meanings, but it is possible for a word to have different meanings. We should understand based on the context. Okay. So paniyam, it is said, does it mean water? I mean, not necessarily water. Anything that can be drunk is paniyam. That could be drunk, that deserves to be drunk is paniyam. Need not be water. Okay. Yes, Rav Mahodaya.
Yeah, I have a question. From Lut and Aniyar, I'm guessing that Lut is used in the active voice and Aniyar is in the passive voice. Am I right?
Yes, we will come to this again next class. So,
but my understanding is right or wrong?
This is passive. Aniyar is passive, yes.
Okay.
Lut does not have a connotation, but yeah, I mean, you could take it as active. Though it is, since it expresses only kriya, there is no question of being active or passive. So it is like bhava. So it just expresses kriya. So active or passive is with relation to whether it expresses the object or the subject. So Lut is neither, whereas this is passive.
So both of them are in bhavartha.
Which one?
Both Lut and Aniyar. Both of them are used in bhavartha.
Bhave karmani. Aniyar is bhave or karmani. Lut is, it just expresses kriya and nothing else. So we cannot have, I mean, that distinction is not very clear with Lut because of other reasons also. So we will see that again in the next class when we know more about Aniyar.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And I understand, so there are other questions also. Many of the questions which you're raising in this class will be answered in the next class, so please have patience. Like say there are questions about the vibhakti to be used with Aniyar, about the lingas of Aniyar. So all those will come in the next class. Okay, so as I said, asmin varge Aniyar pratyayasya parichayaha rupani. So there is much more coming to Aniyar. Okay, so Aniyar is similar to Lut so far, but again it has all three lingas. Okay, so it is not a single linga. So there are different lingas, the forms in those lingas and using them, and the vibhaktis to be used with it. So all of them we will learn in the next class. So today we will look at this now. So this is a dhatu patha. Okay, so for general understanding, so as I said, the dhatus or the verbs, the basic verbs of Samskrita are finite. That is a fixed number, which is around 2000. So it could vary from 1800 to 2200, but around that, okay, including all variations. So those are the original dhatus from which most of the other words of Samskrita are derived. So the list of dhatus is given in something which is called dhatu patha. Dhatu patha iti bhavati yatra dhatavaha nirdishyante. So dhatu patha is very important for understanding a lot of information about a dhatu. Okay, so dhatu patha always has the dhatu. Say for example, you have aki or you have anchu. So these are the dhatus, and it gives the meaning, an indicative meaning. So lakshane. So it also, you can know the gana, pada. So whether it is atmanepadi or parasmaipadi, whether it is set, anit or wait. So all this information is important. So dhatu patha is will not be in this format. So it will not say, okay, I mean the tabular format, of course it's a different format, but this is the information but the dhatu patha will give. It will give you the original dhatu. You will be able to know the gana based on what it started, and then the pada, and also whether it is set or anit or wait based on the swara. Okay, So what I have here now is about 375 commonly used dhatus. So this is not the complete dhatu patha. So I have selected around, as I said, 375 dhatus, which are commonly used in usage. Okay, so common dhatus which could be used for normal conversations and also prayoga. So there is the original dhatu, but the thing is the original dhatu is not always what we hear. Okay, so for example, ad dhatu, it is easier that ad is the dhatu which we hear, but for ak dhatu, it becomes ank. Okay, so similarly the original dhatu for say if you look at a dhatu like ovrashchu is the original dhatu, but actually the dhatu becomes vrashch, or in some cases vrishch. So there are some modifications. So kakshi becomes kanksh and so on. So this modification is not required to be known at this stage. Okay, for you it is enough if you know this column. So we can easily hide this. So it will be there so that you know that there is something. This is the original dhatu. Knowing the original dhatu is important for many reasons, because if you know the original dhatu with the swara, we will know many other things such as whether it is set, anit, wait, what is the pada, etc. Even without specification we can know it, but it is for the next stage, not right now. So we can just forget that for now. Okay, so what we will take into consideration is the dhatu. So you have a list of dhatus. Okay, so this sheet will be shared with all of you. I'll share this. So what we will try to do as we study the various pratyayas is we will try to fill this up collaboratively. So everybody, I mean, one person doing everything is difficult, but whenever you have time, it is a shared spreadsheet, so you can fill in a few forms. Okay, so it will be practice for you, and in the process we will also get this sheet filled, which will be a useful reference for later. Okay, so that we will do after this class. I will share this spreadsheet. Whoever wants to do, whenever you want to do, you can just open it, and whichever is blank you can fill it in the pratyayas which we have done only. Okay, so we will take it as we go on. So for now, lyut and aniya. So you can fill the forms. We can correct it as and when required. Okay, so for now, today we will do an exercise in which we will just try to orally guess the forms of these dhatus in lyut and aniyar. Okay, so before that there are a few questions about the sheet itself. So what happens if you see somebody else's error? So if you see an erroneous form, or if you think it is an error, you can correct it, and we will see. I mean, since it's a collaborative effect, I think it will get refined over time. I will look at it at the end. So finally we will have one version which will have the correct forms. So after checking, so if you see an error, you will be able to correct it since it will be shared. So so the fonts to do it, this is all in Unicode. So any Unicode input tool should be useful, such as there are some tools. So I'll also share the links to those tools to type in Samskrita if you want to do it. Okay. So what is Atmane Pada or Parasmai Pada? We don't need right now. So maybe we will see about them in the next class. So what I want now is only you have a dhatu. We need the forms of those dhatus in lyut and aniyar. Okay. So just orally say ank. So ankanam, ankaniyam. Anch, anchanam, anchaniyam. So idanim maukhika rupena abhyasam kurmah. So tataha tankanam agre bhavatu. So typing can happen later whenever you have this. So you can directly type in Devanagari in the page. Okay, it's a Google spreadsheet. So you will be able to type directly in Devanagari. Okay. Okay. So for now, just look at this. Okay. This column, and we will go on reciting the forms one by one. Those are everybody can try. I would like all of you to try. So it's very easy because it's fairly this one. Okay, so the other information does not matter for now. Okay, so the parasmaipada atmanepada will matter for some pratyayas. The set and it will matter for some pratyayas, not for lut or aniyar. So the gana also does not matter. So just look at the dhatu and guess the form of the dhatu in both lut and aniya. Okay, so we will take it say 10 per person initially, and then we can see what it is. Okay, so those who want to tell, please raise your hands. Shobha.
Ankanam, Ankaniyam.
So Ankanam, Ankaniyam. So Ankanam is to make a mark. Ank lakshane ityasti, aki lakshane. Yes.
Anchanam, Anchaniyam.
Anchanam, Anchaniyam. So Anch is Gati Pujanayoho. The meaning is there. So I'll tell the meaning only for those which might not be clear. So Anch means to go and to worship. Okay.
Adanam, Adaniyam.
That is to eat. Atti.
Ananam, Ananiyam.
Aniti is to breathe. So it is a common dhatu which is found in words like prana, etc. So aniti means to breathe.
Ayanam, Ayaniyam. Archanam, Archaniyam. Arthanam, Arthaniyam. Arhanam, Arhaniyam.
Yes, arhanam natvam bhavati. Arhanam arhaniyam is to worship or to respect somebody.
Avanam, Avaniyam.
Avanam avaniyam. So avati rakshati ityarthaha. So protection is avana. So yes, I will add a column with English meanings so we can, so that it's easier. So we will do that later. So yes, Swaminathan Mahoday. Next.
Avanam, Avaniyam.
Avanam. So there is no natva. Yeah. So, avanam, avaniyam.
Avaniyam. Asanam, Asaniyam.
There is no na. It is na. Ashanam, Ashaniyam.
Bhuvanam, Bhuvaniyam.
Bhavanam, Bhavaniyam. Not Bhuvanam. Bhavanam.
Bhavanam, Bhavaniyam. Apanam, Apaniyam.
Apanam, Apaniyam. So.
Asanam, Asaniyam. Adhyayanam, Adhyayaniyam. Enam, Eniyam.
Ayanam. E becomes ayanam, ayaniyam.
Ayanam, ayaniyam. Ikshanam, ikshaniyam.
Ikshanam, ikshaniyam.
Na. Ikshanam, yes. Irshanam, irshaniyam.
Irshyanam, irshyaniyam.
Irshanam, irshaniyam. Ihanam, ihaniyam.
Ihanam, ihaniyam.
Uhanam, uhaniyam.
Uhanam, uhaniyam.
Uhaniyam. Simple.
Dhanyavada. Uhanam, uhaniyam. Is to guess. Okay. So next, Rav Mahodaya.
Yeah. Aranam, araniyam.
R becomes arana, like kr becomes karana. R becomes aranam, araniyam.
Ardhanam, Ardhaniyam. Edham, Edhaniyam.
Edhanam, Edhaniyam.
Oh, Edhanam, Edhaniyam. Vrish, Guru. Varschanam,
Vrashchanam.
Vrashchanam, Vrashchaniyam. Hanam, Haniyam. Kathanam, Kathaniyam. Kampanam, Kampaniyam. Kamanam, Kamaniyam. Kalanam, Kalaniyam. Kangshanam, Kangshaniyam.
Kangshanam, Kangshaniyam. Sunatvam bhavati. Kranti, Kiran.
Keelanam, Keelaniyam. Krupanam, Krupaniyam.
Kopanam. Kopanam.
Kopanam, Kopaniyam. Kurdanam, Kurdaniyam. Kujanam, Kujaniyam. Is it klip?
Clip. So it becomes kalp. So
Kalpanam, Kalpaniyam. Krushanam, Krushaniyam.
Karshanam.
Karshanam, Karshaniyam. Kiranam, Kiraniyam. Kirtanam, Kirtaniyam. Krandanam, Krandaniyam. Kramanam, Kramaniyam.
Kramanam, Kramaniyam. Na because of the repha. Okay.
Yeah. Kramanam, Kramaniyam.
Okay. Mahadevan. So I had a problem last time also. I'm unable to unmute you. I don't know why. What are you logged in from the phone? But even then you should be able to unmute you. But I'm not able to unmute you. Okay. I don't know why. I'm sorry. Maybe we should resolve this before next class. Okay. So next, Varadan. Kanchivaram. I'm not able to hear you. Are you speaking? Creed. No. Geeta Ramachandran.
Yeah. Kridanam, Kridaniyam. Krudanam, Krodanam, Krodaniyam. Kroshanam, Kroshaniyam.
Kroshanam, Kroshaniyam. There is no Natva.
Then Kalam, is it Kalaman?
Klam.
Klamanam, Klamaniyam. Klidanam, Klidaniyam.
Kledanam, Kledaniyam.
Sorry, E becomes A. Yeah. Kledanam, Kledaniyam. Kleshanam, Kleshaniyam. Kathanam, Kathaniyam.
Kvathanam.
Oh, wow. Okay. The letters are small. Okay. Kvathanam, Kvathaniyam. Kshamanam, Kshamaniyam. Chalanam, Chalaniyam. Kshepanam, Kshepaniyam.
Kshi. Kshayanam.
Chayanam, Chayaniyam.
Dhanyawada. Thank you. So maybe I should. Okay. So Okay. Next, Harish.
एवं पूर्वं तत् किर् इति धातुः
दृष्टवती
आसीत्
अनन्तरं वक्ष्यामि न किरणमेव
किरणमेव किल
किरणम् इत्येव
क्षिप् क्षेपणं क्षेपणीयं क्षुद् क्षोधनं क्षोधनीयं क्षुभ क्षोभणं क्षोभणीयं खण्ड खण्डनं खण्डनीयं खन् खननं खननीयं खाद् खादनं खादनीयं खेल् खेलनं खेलनीयं ख्यानं ख्यानीयं गण गणनं गणनीयं गद् गदनं गदनीयं
सम्यक् हेमा
गर्ज गर्जनं गर्जनीयं गर्हणं गर्हणीयं गवेषणं गवेषणीयं गाहनं गाहनीयं गुञ्जनं गुञ्जनीयं sorry gunj is
correct gunjanam gunjaniyam
will it become gopanam gopaniyam
gopanam gopaniyam
gunf becomes gunfanam gunfaniyam geranam
no giradam both these and this one the kr and gr so they are not originally kir and gir they are originally kr and gr okay so the itva is asiddha so because of that no guna here so it becomes kr becomes kiranam kiraniyam so similarly gr becomes giranam giraniyam not giranam okay it's an exception okay, so it was asked even before about the kir and gir so they are originally from the dhatus kr and gr okay so there is some prakriya which is asiddha because of this there is no guna the e does not become a here so it is the forms are slightly different okay so next Varadan. Okay.
I lost the page. One second. Where is it? Yeah. Hello? Okay. Gai. Gayaniyam. Gayani.
Ganam.
Ganam. Gayaniyam.
Ganiyam.
Ganiyam. Grantanam grantaniyam. Grahanam grahaniyam.
Grahanam grahaniyam. Natva.
Okay. Natva. Glai.
No.
Glayanam.
Gla.
Oh. Glanam. Glaniyam. Okay. Gatanam gataniyam. Gush. Goshanam goshaniyam.
Ghoshanam ghoshaniyam.
Grish. Groshan.
Gharshanam.
Garshanam garshaniyam.
Gharshanam gharshaniyam.
Granam graniyam.
Granam graniyam.
Charanam charaniyam. Sarvam sarvaniyam.
Charvanam charvaniyam. Samyak. Okay. Sridhar Srinivasa.
Namaste one. Chalanam chalaniyam. Chayanam chayaniyam. Chintanam chintaniyam. Chitram chitranam chitraniyam. Chud chodanam chodaniyam. Chumbanam chumbaniyam.
Chumbanam chumbaniyam.
Chumbaniyam. Churanam
Choranam.
Natva. Churaniyam. Churna churnanam churnaniyam.
Churnanam churnaniyam. There is no natva because the na intervenes here.
Chushanam chushaniyam. Natvam. Cheshtanam cheshtaniyam.
Natvam nasti. Cheshtanam cheshtaniyam. Okay. Lalita, sing.
Chedanam chedaniyam. Ja will come as Gyan.
Jana. It is Jana.
So Jananam jananiyam. Japanam japaniyam. Jalpanam jalpaniyam. No, was it the previous one to Nasva? Because it ends with pa, isn't it?
But it does not have repha, so it is Jalpanam, Jalpaniyam.
Okay, so that was correct. Okay, Jalpaniyam. Jagranam, Jagraniyam.
Jagaranam, Jagaraniyam.
Jagraniyam, so Nasva. Jiyanam, Jayanam, Jayaniyam. Jivanam, Jivanam, it should be Jivaniyam.
Jivaniyam, correct.
Shrambhanam, Shrambaniyam. Shri becomes what does Shri becomes?
Jaranam.
Jaraniyam. Jnaniyam.
Correct.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So a couple of things here. Somebody asked chumb, why the u does not become o. U is not the penultimate letter. There are two letters after u. Say chud, u is the letter before the last, so it becomes o. But in chumba there are two letters after u, so it does not become o. Second, there are some cases in which there is something in the bracket, so don't worry about it for now. You have to use the one which is outside the bracket only. So the bracket forms are used in some cases, not now. So for now it is the direct dhatu which has to be taken. Okay, next, Paul, do you want to try?
Jvaraniyam. Jvaranam. Jvaraniyam.
Jvaranam. Jvaraniyam.
Jval. Jvalanam. Jvalaniyam. Tarshanam. Tarshaniyam.
Tarshanam. Tarshaniyam.
Varanam. Varaniyam. Hal. Halanam. Halaniyam. He. Jnanam.
Bhayanam.
Bhayanam. Bhayaniyam. Nidanam.
Medanam.
Medanam. Medaniyam.
Swap.
Swalpanam.
Swapanam.
Swapanam. Swapaniyam. Urjanam. Urjaniyam. Without nothing. And then two. Kshavanam.
Kshavanam.
Kshavaniyam.
Kshavanam. Kshavaniyam. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Lakshmi.
Yes. Davanam davaniyam. Nandanam nandaniyam. Brajanam brajaniyam. Yatsanam yachaniyam. Vamanam vamaniyam. Vepanam vepaniyam. Dayanam dayaniyam. Karanam karaniyam. Krinanam krinaniyam.
Krayanam krayaniyam.
Krayanam krayaniyam. Danam daniyam.
Yes. Dhanyawadaha. Kumar Shankar.
Dhanam dhaniyam. Pachanam pachaniyam. Bharanam bharaniyam. Labanam labaniyam.
Labhanam labhaniyam.
Okay. Vapanam vapaniyam. Natanam nataniyam. Nadanam nadaniyam. Namanam namaniyam. Nasanam nasaniyam.
Samyak. Radhika. Oh, there was one more. Okay, it's okay. Radhika, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you. Ni nayanam nayaniyam.
We left the nind. I think I cut him out.
Okay. Nindanam nindaniyam. Ni nayanam nayaniyam. Nu nodanam nodaniyam.
No. Nudu is nodanam. Nu is navanam.
Nu navanam navaniyam. Nud nodanam nodaniyam. Takshanam takshaniyam. Tadanam tadaniyam. Tananam tananiyam. Tapanam tapaniyam. Tamanam tamaniyam. Tarjanam tarjaniyam. Tijanam
Tejanam.
Oh, tejanam tejaniyam.
Samyak. Tejanam tejaniyam. So there's a question, why the difference in nu and nud? Nu is ukaranta, so it becomes av, navanam navaniyam. Nud is ukara is at the last but one, the penultimate letter, so it becomes nodanam nodaniyam. Okay. So next we will do just one more because we will stop at 150. So next class we'll look at the rest. Vijayalakshmi. You have to unmute yourself.
नमस्कारः तुडनं तुडनीयं
तोडनं
तोडनीयं तोदनं तोदनीयं तोलनं तोलनीयं तोषणं तोषणीयं तृपणं तर्पणीयं तर्पणं तर्पणीयं त्रोपणं तरणं तरणीयं त्यजनं त्यजनीयं त्रपणं त्रपणीयं त्रसनं त्रसनीयं
there is no natva because sa is in between.
त्रसनं त्रसनीयं त्रोटनं त्रोटनीयं.
धन्यवादाः. So thank you. So we'll stop here. So we will do this orally in the next class. So we'll at least have a look at the dhatus that we are doing. So any questions now? Prashnaha santi chet prichantu. Otherwise, before that, I will just do a quick sankshepa adya yat kritam tat sanक्षेपेण vadami anantaram prashnaah santi chet prichantu. So aniyar pratyayah adya adhitah vidyarthakah pratyayah. So it is used in sense of must be done or should be done or some such thing. So there are subtle differences in meaning which we will see later. So sarvebhyah dhatubhyah ayam pratyayah bhavati. Yatra repah shakarah athava rikarah asti tatra natvasya sambhavah. So the possibility of natva if these three letters are present before the nakara. Tatrapi madhye vidyamanani vyanjanani kavarga pavarga hayava ityeteshu antarbhavanti chet natvam bhavati. Anyani vyanjanani santi chet natvam na bhavati. Rupani api drishtani ल्युडन्त रूपवत् रूपाणि भवन्ति. अनीयर् प्रत्ययान्तस्य अपि समानं भवति. अनम् इत्यस्य स्थाने अनीयम् इति. So there are other differences so which we will see in the next class. So manasa satatam smaraniyam iti geetam drishtam tatsya the second stanza of the song. Nabhoga bhavane ramaniyam nacha sukhashayane shayaniyam aharnisham jagaraniyam lokahitam mama karaniyam. So bhoga bhavane na ramaniyam. So it is not for us to ramaniyam is to have pleasure in the various pleasures, bhoga or bhavana in great palaces. Nacha sukha shayane shayaniyam. So should not sleep in comfortable bed. So aharnisham jagaraniyam should be awake and active. Aharnisham, ahaha nisham, ahaha is day and nisha is night. So day and night. Lokahitam mama karaniyam. So for the good of the world or for helping others. So lokahitam mama karaniyam. So mama ityasya vishaye sandehaha. So that we will see in the next class or maybe the after that. So we will see about it. So any other questions you can ask now. So we will stop with this for today. There is a question, row 146. Tr iti dhatuhu rikarah dirghah taranam taraniyam iti rupam. Shobha.
Gup iti
dhatu dvayam asit ubhayorapi gopanam gopaniyam ityeva rupam. So there is no difference in form in lut or aniyar. So there is a difference in the other cases. So atra bhedah na bhavati.
Dhanyavadah.
Okay. So Hema.
In case of this kir and gil, you said they originally are from kru and gru, and so we will consider the
there is Nashmyate. There is a lot of disturbance. I don't know why.
Now, okay?
No, I hear a lot of noise. I don't know what's the background noise.
Background is quite silent. I will try.
I mean,
Okay, now okay?
better, but still there is some, I mean, some sort of, it's not the background noise, but some, yeah. Tell me now.
No, okay. You said in case of this kir and gir.
Yeah, there is a difference in prakriya. The for say dhatus like tr and kr. So we will maybe I'll write a mail to you about that.
Okay, so how will we know the difference? That is what is my question.
So there is a different sutra. So I'll look up and exactly this one I'll let you know, because I wrote it from the samskara of the words, but the exact sutra I need to look up. So I'll look it up and I'll write a mail. Okay. Yes, Venkateshwaran Mahoday. You have a question? You have to unmute yourself.
This refer, shakara, rikara, in the r is also included. Rikara, rikara, that's also included, madam.
It could be included, but there are no examples where you will find rikara. So you will never find nakara next to rikara. So rikara is always converted to other letters. So theoretically it could be included, but you will not have any practical examples for that. Okay. So there's a question here. What is it for gai? Gai is ga, ganam, ganiyam. Okay. So okay. Malakondaya.
Harivam. While putting dhatus, kindly put original dhatu also, madam.
It's already there. I didn't show it because it's confusing. The original dhatu is there.
And one more question is, what is the difference between Chandrabindu and Anuswara?
The Chandrabindu represents the swara itself being Anunasika. So it is not a separate one. So the pa is pronounced as pa with the nasal tone. So pu, the ukara is pronounced with the nasal tone. Anuswara is a separate letter. So it is gum and mu. So and have a difference.
Oh. And one out of syllabus question is there. Can I ask, madam?
Yes, if possible, I'll answer now. Otherwise, I'll answer later.
The question is, in there are 22 upasargas, wherein the a is there. A plus gacchati, agacchati, agaccha, laprachaya. Into a is not there in the upasarga list. Why it?
Ang. Pra, para, pa, sam, anu, ava, nisnir, dus, dur, vi, ang.
Ang is there, but it is not a.
It is ang. Akara is it.
Okay. Ang is it.
Ngakara is it. So a is the upasarga there.
Oh, upasarga.
Yeah.
So, thank you, madam.
So there are a couple of written questions. Giraha pantuvaha and girah pumsam. What is the meaning of giraha? Gira means vak, words. Okay. Girah pantuvaha, may the speech protect us. So Brahmi tu Bharati Bhasha Gir Vag Vani Saraswati. So Gihi ityasya Vani Bhasha ityarthaha. So okay. Next, when we see Rikara, it does represents all versions including all Matra Kala. Yes, whenever you say Rikara, it does include the Dirgha. But as I said, you will not have an example for Natva followed by Rikara, because there is the Rikara is in a dhatu is generally converted to other letters. Okay. So just one moment. So similarly, yena dhauta girah pumsam vimalai shabdavaribhihi. So girah pumsam. So pumsam girah nama vachaha. He who has cleaned, dhautaha, which is cleaned the speech of people. So giraha, gij shabdasya tatrapi bhasha ityeva arthaha athava vachanani. Okay. So what time? So 5:30 IST, 5:30 in Indian Standard Time, the class starts. So if it is a different thing, maybe you should, I mean, the webinar should give you the time in your timeline. So somebody mentioned saying that there is a difference in time. So the class is from 5:30 to, it was supposed to be till 7, but it goes on till about 7:30 Indian Standard Time. Okay. Okay, so the last 2 questions maybe. Yes, Swaminathan Mahodaya.
Vajra niyam should be na, right? Because ra comes after ja.
There is no Vajra, so there is Vrajaniyam, in which you will not have Natva because there is a ja in between. There is also Varjaniyam. There also there is no Natva because the ja intervenes. There is no
There's no word for Vajra. Vajra, right? Vajra.
There is no direct dhatu as Vajra. I mean, you can derive it artificially, but artificially as in a secondary dhatu. But I don't think there's an original dhatu meaning Vajra. Vraja is there. Vrajati nama gacchati. So Varjayati ityapi asti. Vajrati iti tu nasti. If it is there, it would be Vajranam. I mean, theoretically, if it is there, it would be Vajranam, Vajraniyam. But it's not there. Yeah.
The second question, Hamdi, you said there is no tense for the Aniya. But if you have there's no future tense, right? I mean,
Aniya does not carry any tense connotation. Yeah.
I got it. However, if you have to say this lesson should be read tomorrow, that means we are going to indicate something using
so you are going to indicate the time by a different word, say Shvaha Pathaniyam or Agrima Mase Pathaniyam. But just by Pathaniyam, you cannot indicate the future. By the Aniyar, you cannot indicate the future. You have to use some other word to indicate the Kala, like Shvaha or Agrima Mase or whenever.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Sundara Raman. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it possible?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yeah, this is fine.
The classes are very fine. I am attending to the seminar for the first time.
Okay.
Of course, I'm from Kridanta. Just I wanted to check up my heart.
Yeah, sure.
Problem.
It's working now. This is fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yes. So we'll stop here. So for people who came late, yes, you can download all materials. Just go to sanskritfromhome.in. You have the Kridanta course. So the course will be, you can get it either in the home page or in, the different, this ones. So there you can download all materials, including you can see the video recording, the audio, the notes and everything. So the Kridanta course is currently under the new courses. You can also find it in the different categories. In all categories, it will say it is a course under language practice. You can also find it in the intermediate courses. So anyway, it will all lead to the same thing. So you just have to go to that course. You have to sign in, take this course. So once you do that, you will be able to download all materials which are uploaded. Okay. So materials will be uploaded by Tuesday or maximum by Wednesday. So Gurureva Gatir Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Na Guroh Paramam Shishurasmi Guror Matirasti Gurau Mamapahi Guru. Dhanyavadaha. So we will